Yes, people, we're back. Finally, we can speak about some Premier League football, man. But listen, before we do any of that, make sure that you smash up the likes, leave the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on, my take. Obviously, we'll preview the game a little bit later on. But we've got a few things to speak about, man, because as always, over the international break, you see a lot of things that go on at Chelsea, man. People getting injured in training, FFP, Todd Bowley, Egbali, this and that, doom and gloom. Do you know what I'm saying? So we'll speak about that, and then obviously we'll speak about the game. Some of the things I want to speak about is Todd Bowley, the fact that he's been removed as chairman as of 2027. We'll speak about the medical team, some of the changes that these guys need to make, because honestly, this is just becoming it's unbelievable, the amount of injuries that we get every other day. Do you know what I'm saying? Guys will step out on the pitch, training, and they get injured. They'll hurt their foot. They come back and they've got a different injury. It's their arm this time. It's their hip this time. It's their thigh this time. Do you know what I'm saying? That's got to get looked into. We'll speak about Poch. Is he playing a part in this as well? Because some ex-players have spoken about this guy's intense training, and it's something that we know because the guy likes to press. He likes guys to just run. So is that affecting these players as well? We'll speak about that. We'll speak about the international break. We'll speak about some of the players, that have done quite well. Madueke, the Mudryks, the Cucurellas that have done quite well this break as well. And then we'll speak, like I said, we'll speak about the Burnley game, how I think it's going to go, the lineup I'll put out, and what I think Poch will do, and how we can actually win this game against Burnley, because we've already played Burnley away. We beat them 4-1. It was actually one of our better performances this season. Sterling was on fire this game. I remember he got the first. It was like an own goal, but he was the reason why we ended up even scoring that. Then he scored in the second half. Cole Palmer got an assist for Jackson. Cole Palmer scored a penalty as well. So yeah, it was a nice margin to leave them. And I know it's only Burnley, but it was nice to build a little bit of confidence and score quite a few goals, because we weren't seeing Chelsea scoring that many goals last season. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was nice to see a 4-1. And yeah, it's nice to just go away from international football, man, because I'm sick and tired of Southgate Ball, man. Honestly, obviously I'm sick and tired of Poch Ball as well. But when I go watch England, Jesus Christ, it's like watching Chelsea again. Honestly, the poor in-game management, the misprofiling of players, the rubbish mentality this manager's got. Honestly, him and Poch must have went the same school. They must have went the same school, because they're identical. They're literally twins. They're literally twins of how they manage. And this summer, I don't see England winning the Euros, man. I've seen a lot of pundits and the media overrating England as always. But listen, with this manager, I just don't see us doing it, man. I don't see us doing it. But listen, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. But like I said, as Matt Law's reported here, Clear Lake will take up their option in 2027, which was always the plan and always the intention. It is not seen as a vote of no confidence in Todd Bowley, and the current expectation remains that Bowley Group will then reclaim it in 2032 as per agreed terms in below article. But listen, end of the day, with Todd Bowley, it's one of them ones where I can't even, there's not much I can say. All I can hope is between now and 2027, he is part of the group that tries to rectify a lot of these, not even tries, rectifies a lot of these mistakes, because he came in, was given 200k a week to Fofana, who literally just came back from a crazy injury, giving 325k to Raheem Sterling as if he's Messi, signing all of these players, and it just didn't work out for them, So he's got some mistakes to rectify as well. I know he doesn't own majority of the club, but he's still chairman. So he needs to make sure that he's in Egbali's ear and saying, listen, we need to fix up, because we came in here talking the talk. We've come in here with a lot of ambition, which I still think they're ambitious, but their execution has been completely off. And me and CB spoke about this. We spoke about what needs to be rectified. So if you haven't caught up on the last pod that we did, make sure that you do, because we touched up on it in a lot of detail. Obviously, CB's a strong character, but a lot of the points that he was saying, I couldn't even defend. I couldn't even defend the owners, because, like I said to him, I feel like they've hoodwinked us in a way, But it's not too late. We're not too far gone where things can't be rectified. I think we still can. Do you know what I'm saying? But let's get into the nitty-gritty, man, because we've got a lot of important things to speak about. Yeah? And one of the main things right now is the medical team at Chelsea. I don't know who these guys are, first of all. That's the first thing. I've done a little bit of research on them, and it looks like we've actually got a medical team that's smaller than the team that we had under Roman. They've got rid of everyone, pretty much. They got rid of everyone and decided to bring in their new guys. And these new guys have been absolutely shocking. You know, last season we had so many injuries. I remember at one point, coming up to January, I think it was, we had about 11 people out. And Potter had to work with C team players. You know, I remember so many fans were getting onto him. I said, listen, there's not much this guy can do because he's working with players that we all know shouldn't be here anymore. And they're just, you know, dead wood. Do you know what I'm saying? And I thought hopefully this season, these injuries will just, you know, will kind of calm down a little bit. I expected guys like Reece James and the Nkukus to continue getting injured because these guys are injury-prone players. And Fofana, but the others, the Badia Chels, the Lavias, you know, players like that, I did not expect these guys to be constantly injured like the way they have been this season. And these are big players. These are players that could be starting for us week in, week out. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I still think we've had enough to win more games than we've won this season. But we can't ignore the fact that these are big misses. Big misses, man. And listen, we need a real investigation into the medical team this summer, man, honestly. Because this cannot carry on next season. Yeah? Firstly, we can't go and buy players that have got a poor injury record. Stay away from them. Because we need to fix things at home first. Yeah? We need to fix things at home. I'm not a medical expert. Yeah? But these guys, they need to do what they need to do. Speak to whoever you need to speak to, medical consultants, all of that. I want to see you guys actually trying, yeah, to make sure that there's changes. Because this can't continue. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable, man. But listen, Pochettino as well. I'm not saying that he's the only one to blame for this, but I have to look at him as well. Because how many players are going to keep coming back with a you know, they come back. For example, you had Nkuku. He got a knee injury. All of a sudden, he's injured with a hip injury, right? You had Lavia. He injured his ankle. He comes back. Then it's his thigh. That's not a coincidence to me anymore. These guys are coming back and they're leaving with fresh injuries, right? And some of these injuries happen in training as well, you know? And there's been players that have been managed by Pochettino in the past, like Kyle Walker. He spoke about it in an interview that he did on Rio Ferdinand's pod. And he said at Tottenham, the training was intense. You know, a lot of players have spoken about his training. Schneiderlin, he spoke about his training at Southampton, how he just had to keep running. Do you know what I'm saying? And we can see it on the pitch because Poch is still stuck in the days of pressing football. No, there's no tactics. It's just pressing and vibes. That's why he loves Gallagher, because the guy can just run. But then in the same breath, against Liverpool, he'll talk about the players were tired. I'm sorry, if they're doing all this running in training, I expect these men to be fit. Extra fit, in fact. Yeah? I don't know if you might know about pro clubs, second wind. You know second wind? That means you get extra energy after like 70th, 60th minute, 70th minute. That's what I expect from these lot with all the running that they're doing. But clearly, it's not helping their fitness. It's ruining them, clearly. Do you know what I'm saying? You know? And one of the things that came out the other day with Lavia, because unfortunately for him, he's been ruled out for the whole season. And listen, this is a real big miss, man, because Lavia, for me, is going to be a top player. And he would have definitely helped us play a lot better. You know, how he just picks up the ball from deep. It's so hard to get the ball off him because he's, like I said, for me, he's our most press-resistant player. Yeah, I remember last season when I watched Southampton against Arsenal, he absolutely bossed that midfield. Odegaard presses for fun, bro, and he couldn't get anywhere near him. Do you know what I'm saying? And he would have been key in how we build up. I think he would have been the person, you know, playing as the anchor, playing as the 6, that you'd have most likely had Enzo and Caicedo playing as the 8. Or this manager, knowing him, he would have probably played Gallagher in the 8 and left Enzo on the bench. Do you know what I'm saying? But what's really scary about this whole Lavia situation is that in December, Lavia's comeback was being accelerated due to technical staff pressing for his return as they needed a midfielder. But the rehab of the player was not 100% done. There were some steps that were needed to be taken, but the technical staff did not listen to medical advice. The player was injured again soon after the match. I'm sorry, that's just disgusting, man. That's just negligent. Do you know what I'm saying? How can you ignore the advice of the medical team? I know I've criticized the medical team, but if this is true, and have told Poch and his staff that Lavia is not ready, how selfish is that to put a young player that's just come back from injury in harm's way to go and beat Palace? To go and beat Palace. You're telling me that you need Lavia to go and beat Palace? Is that what you're telling me? Do you know what I'm saying? Why did you go and send Santos out on loan then? If you knew that his injury was going to be long term, and now you want to rush him back, you know? It's craziness, man. It's craziness. So for me, Pochettino, he in my opinion, I think he's playing a part in these injuries that are happening, man. All this hard work, having guys running about, you know? There's other ways of staying fit. These guys need to rest and recover. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's something that he needs to start taking accountability, because once again, this guy has not taken any accountability. How can we have Lavia, right, who played the most minutes for any under 20 in the Premier League last season? All under 20s last season, he played the most minutes. He comes to Chelsea and he just breaks down like this. We've seen half an hour of him. Do you know what I'm saying? I was even at that game. It's laughable, man. It's laughable. Then you've also got a lack of transparency as well. What's going on with Leslie Ogochukwu? We got told that he's going to be out for 6 weeks. It's been 12 weeks. There's just a lack of transparency. And this goes back to my initial point. Again, me and CB spoke about this. There's a massive disconnect right now between the ownership, between the fans, between Poch. Top to bottom, it's a mess. Top to bottom, it's a mess. And that's why, for me personally, I've kind of written off the season, to be honest. I'm ready for next season because we've got holes to plug, we've got too many injuries, and we've got a shocking manager. Yeah, there's a few things that we need to do to this team. We need a proper shape-up in this team. Yeah? So, yeah, this can't carry on, man. We need to investigate Poch, and we need to investigate the medical team. We need a massive... I'm trying to see a 200-page report about what's going on, because this is not good. A club like Chelsea, yeah, £1 billion, however much we paid for this club, they paid for this club even. Yeah, the amount of trophies that we won, the fan base, you know, we're part of the big six, and you're telling me that we're not able to get competent people upstairs working in the medical team. What's really going on right now? You're taking a piss out of my life. Do you know what I'm saying? So these lot need to fix up. Really need to fix up, man. But listen, man, when it comes to international break, Mudryk, he scored a goal against Iceland to actually send Ukraine to the Euros. I watched a bit of the highlights because I didn't actually watch the game. I think it was on at the same time as the England game. And from what I was seeing, he was cooking them, man. He was cooking them. I always take highlights with a pinch of salt, but there was a lot of clips of Mudryk in that game. So to me, it looks like he was involved a lot in that game. Do you know what I'm saying? The way he was attacking the fullback, the skill he was showing, the goal that he scored as well, very good goal. You know what I'm saying? So for me, we need to keep him in the lineup. Yeah, I don't know, no spoilers, but for me, he needs to start at the weekend because he needs to just carry on building his confidence. Like I've said, he needs to carry on getting opportunities to show what he can do, and basically just learn his game and continue learning the league. You know what I'm saying? And again, Madueke, under 21s is too easy for this guy, man. 2 goals, 2 assists in the same game. Over the past 3 international breaks, Madueke has netted 7 goals for the under 21s. You know, it's a shame for him because in the first team, it's stacked on that right-hand side, man. You've got Saka, you've got Palmer, you've got Bowen, you've got Foden that Southgate likes to play there as well sometimes. So I don't see him getting a look in anytime soon. Obviously, we'll see what happens with the next manager for England and how Madueke gets on, you know, in the next however many years it's going to be. But he's too good for England under 21s, man. Every time I see this guy playing for them, like Palmer, it's just too easy for him. He always leaves with something every single game, whether it's a goal, whether it's an assist, just always ripping up the fullbacks. He's too good for that level. But it's good. It's good to see this, man, because now I'm seeing Madueke making better decisions in the final third. You know, I'm seeing his finishing's improved. His decision-making's improving. And that's one thing that I spoke about of him last season, because one-on-one, he's one of the best at the club. Taking his man on, he's good at it. But it was his decision-making and his final ball that wasn't good. But now it seems like he's actually got that, you know, starting to get that in his game, which is only going to be good because that's how I like my wingers to play. I like my wingers to be very threatening in one-on-one situations. And again, having that end product, because there's no point doing everything beforehand. And then when it comes to the final ball or finishing your chance, you can't take it. You're just redundant to me if that happens. You're going to be a, say, maximum, or there's only going to be a certain level that you can reach. But if he carries on doing this and getting better like this, yeah, man, he's going to be a very good player going forward. Do you know what I'm saying? So big up him, man. And Cucurella, you know, back in the Spain squad, he deserves it, man. Because again, like I said, he's someone that I feel like this fan base don't really appreciate what he does in build up. I know he's got his faults, and for me, we still need to upgrade on that left back position. And me and CB spoke about this in the pod that we did. But Cucurella, for me, is better than Ben Chilwell. In build-up, he's good on the ball. You know, he's got a nice punch to his pass as well. He can attack a little bit more, in my opinion. I think he needs to attack more. I don't know whether that's coming from Poch, because when I saw this guy at Brighton, he actually created more chances than Reece James and Ben Chilwell at Brighton, right? Because he used to just whip them in all the time. And that's what I liked about him. And that's why Pep even wanted him, because attacking, and going back, he looks quite good. I know he's got a little Boza moment in him, but over 90 minutes, he helps us play a lot better in build-up in comparison to what Ben Chilwell does, because he's grenade football. And once again, you guys saw what he was doing for England. You know what I'm saying? I've spoken about this guy a million and one times. He needs to go. And it's disgusting that it came out a few weeks ago that they're looking to move on Cucurella before him. Ben Chilwell should be one of the first guys out of this club, him and Sterling. They've got to go. Do you know what I'm saying? So listen, Cucurella, well done, man. Well done for finding yourself back into the into the Spain lineup, man. But yeah, man, let's preview the game. Obviously, like I said, we've got Burnley coming up this weekend. And listen, for me, this needs to be nothing but a win. Nothing but a win. And I expect a good performance as well, because one thing about Burnley, they don't play a low block. Kompany's a brave guy. I'll give him that. He's a brave guy because he hasn't dropped his principles. Burnley like to come out and play. But their main problem is in that final third. They just don't have that quality in the final third. I look at their players sometimes. I like their winger. I forgot his name now, the left winger. He's quite good. You know, they're good techie here and there. But when it gets to shooting or making that final pass, it's like they freeze. They're quite similar to Everton in a way in that final third. It's mad weird. So overall, I'm looking at our team. We've got more quality than Burnley. You know, we should be creating better chances than Burnley. And we should be able to finish these chances a lot better than Burnley. Like I said, we've already beaten them 4-1 this season. So I'm expecting nothing more than a W. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not confident in the team right now, I'm sorry. This is Burnley. We have to beat them. These guys are going to get relegated. Do you know what I'm saying? So look, if we look at the lineup, this is a lineup that I've gone with. So Petrovic in goal, Disasi and Chalobah. Centre backs, I saw that Chalobah was added onto the injury list, but he's actually been taken off and now he's in partial training. So I'm hoping he can start. If it's not going to be him, then maybe it will be Thiago Silva. Because Levi, again, he's still injured at the moment, which is, I don't understand what's going on there. Apparently it was just a broken toe, but then he's still injured again. Like, what's really going on there? You know, Gusto was always right back, Cucurella left back. I'll actually play Enzo and Caicedo in a pivot for this game. I don't think Poch is going to do this, in my opinion, because with Enzo, he's only just come back from international duty. And I don't know what it is about these South Americans, man. They always get done dirty with the schedules and whatnot. They're always coming back late, having to train late and all of these things. So maybe you're going to see Gallagher in the pivot, but that's something that I don't want to see. I don't want to see that again. Because again, we saw what Southgate did. He played Gallagher in the pivot against Brazil, and you see why this guy's not good there. You know, he's not comfortable in a half turn. He's not comfortable receiving the ball in the first phase. He has not got that quality on the ball in order to build from back to front in that first phase. So Enzo's going to be important for this game. We need to start Enzo Fernandez. You know what I'm saying? We need to start Enzo Fernandez. And for me, Cole Palmer, I'll actually start him in the 10 for this position. And the reason why I say that is because after how Madueke and Mudryk have been performing recently, and their recent form for their countries as well, they need to start. Yeah, there's no way Sterling should still be in this lineup, like I've spoken about already. Sterling needs to start learning Arabic, and he needs to dip out. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, it's just time for him to start coming off the bench and allowing these guys that are actually here and have some promise to their game to carry on learning and carry on building on that confidence. You know, Sterling right now should not be anywhere near the 11. Not ahead of Mudryk and not ahead of Madueke. So for me, Palmer has to start in that 10. We know what Palmer's all about in that 10, you know, picking up the ball in between the lines, creating for others, creating good chances for players like Jackson who aren't good at finishing. Do you know what I'm saying? So Cole Palmer will be really key in this game. So for me, I'll start him in that 10. But like I said, that pivot, I can see Gallagher starting because obviously his Poch's project, you know what I'm saying? So I reckon he'll probably start in that position. But for me, this is what I would go with, innit? But like I said, man, there's not much more really I can really say about Burnley because end of the day, we've got to beat them. And like I said, they don't play low block. So they're going to come out and play and you know, try and do something against us. But listen, let me know your thoughts below. Smash up the likes. And yeah, until next time, people, love.